Hello guys, this will be a short illustration of how supply and demand truly is in the market. We all know what supply and demand is. When supply is high, we see price move down in the market. Down. Then when demand is high in the market, that's when we see price moving up in the market. And I want to let you guys know that supply and demand are what causes order flow. They are what creates these higher lows and higher highs. So when price is here, hmm, what causes price to form another low, another higher high, to form a high here is because of supply. Because it means that at this point, supply is more than demand, so price falls. But when price gets to this zone, at this place, demand becomes stronger than supply, which introduces more buyers in the market. That's what pushes price up. So, supply and demand is what actually causes the higher low, higher high, and those stuff you already know. It's what causes structure. It's what creates structures in the market. So, the way I look at the market is I look at the market in ranges and impulses. That is where I look at the market. So we all know what ranges mean. We all know what ranges mean. Ranges is just it's a place where buyers and sellers are in the same momentum. And we know that for price to break upwards, it means that demand was stronger than the supply here, because it was supply here. It was the supply here that brought price to this place. So if the demand here becomes stronger than the supply here, it means the, the price will break up above. But in a case whereby supply in a case whereby supply over here becomes stronger, that's when we see it breaks the range below. Are you getting me? So that's just what the ranges mean. And to find the true supply and supply and demand in the market, you have to spot where the ranges are, because it is from this range we can d- we can be able to spot where the supply come into the market, or where did the real demand come into the market. So like I said, they said the market is simply made from ranges and impulses. Before market moves, there must be a battle between supply and demand. Then the price always goes to the direction of which has the highest momentum, like what I explained. So this is just a simple illustration of supply, of ranges. Sorry, of ranges in the market. It is just a simple illustration. So over here you can see this candlestick. It tells you that there was a range there. Then you see after the candlestick, what did you see? Impulse. After impulse, after that impulse, we see another range. After that range, another impulse. This impulse, then this whole place is a range. After that, we see impulse. No, not that. The black candle, impulse. Then we see another range, impulse. Another range, impulse. Then now we see another range. Now impulse. Now we see another range. Now impulse, range, impulse. So you can see that the whole market is actually made up of ranges and impulses. And you see, and that's when you know that when price breaks this, because over here we see that supply was stronger than demand. So when price breaks, it always comes back to the true supply or the demand to continue going to wherever it's going to. We'll talk more about that, but I want you guys to just train your eyes to see this pulses and ranges. Over here you see impulse, range. Now this candle impulse, can see this range, that doji candle there. Let me see if I can zoom. Can I zoom? I'm not sure if I can zoom. No, I can't zoom anymore, but you can see after that you can see this impulse. Here you can see a range, you can see an impulse. Here you can see a range, you can see this other candle impulse. Here this doji, a range, impulse. Here a range, impulse, a range. You can see this impulse. So that's just how it is. A range, impulse. So that's just how it is. So theory for finding true supply and demand. So the theory is, first of all, you have to find the range. Are you getting me? You have to be able to find it. So what happens in this range? What happened in this range? So what's truly happened? Because here we're trying to discuss facts. These are the real things that really happen in the range. So we see that there was a supply holding price over here, and there was a demand holding price over here. So why? So what the price do? D- Demand here was able to break this supply, took out liquidity over here, then came down, broke BOS, then came out to break BOS. This is how it is. And you can also find this theory from SMAW. Are you getting me? From SMAW. I mean, SMAW, SMC, which is smart money. So you are taught in smart money that price will come back to what took liquidity. Yeah, that is actually correct. But what's the real concept behind this? What's the real concept behind this? Is in the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. So now, the way I look at this is I try to follow the footprints of the supply and demand. So if there was a supply here, I only look at two zones in the market, which is the first zone, which is number one, is the zone or the range that took liquidity. So it was because of this range there was momentum to take price up and take liquidity here. Then the second zone is the range that caused the BOS. The range that caused the BOS. So this range is the range that caused this BOS. Are you getting me? So the two ranges are the first range, the range that caused the liquidity sweep, then the second range, the range that caused the BOS. So how do I apply that? When I'm able to identify a range, I now try to trace the the ranges that took liquidity and the range that caused BOS. So that's how I will show you live charts anyways. But the main concept now is, if there was supply here and this range caused price to break this supply, that means that this is a strong zone. Are you getting me? And even this one here is also a strong zone because it costs liquidity. So the logic here is, if it means when price broke this high above, it means that the strong zone now holding price is this place, is here. Are you getting me? So if price was able to break this place, this zone, it means that price created another range that cost, because right now this place is our demand, because right now here becomes our demand. It means that price created another range that costs supply to break this demand. Are you getting me? So it means that this zone is our strong supply, which is our control supply. Are you getting me? So for price, for price, for price to be able to break this structure again downwards, it means that there is another range that was created here that made price to be able to break this holding demand zone that have been holding price all along. So if I want to mark out my POI, my two POIs, these are the two POIs I mark. So it's the same thing. The one that took liquidity and the one that broke structure. So it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing. With time, we'll get to understand this better. So as you can see, so these are the two POIs I always use. The one that took out liquidity and the one that caused the break of structure. Because sometimes you can see price comes here but fails to break this demand and continue upwards. I see. So these are the two real supply and demand zone. It's not really about candlesticks. It's not about where you have bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing. These are the two real. I don't know if I'm explaining this way, but I know that with time you are going to get it more clearer. So for the life illustrations, for the life illustration, let's see. So we can see that what happened here. We can see price. We can see that price broke structure. Price broke structure. Hmm? Price broke structure. This is our high. Okay. So now, what should we ask ourselves? Hmm? So now, ask myself. First of all, where is the supply, or where is the range that first of all took out liquidity, and the range that caused the break of structure? As you can see, this candle here, because you can see that candle, then you can see another impulse. So that candle is a range. So that's the range that caused liquidity. Then if you watch before this break of structure, you can see this range, this candle here. Are you seeing that kind of doji candle? That candle tells us that there was a range, because that was the reaction. You can see a reaction there in this demand zone. How will I put it now? In this demand zone, yeah, in this demand zone, you can see there was a reaction there. So it means that price created a range there that caused demand. So it's just like you have a zone already. So when price got there, price created a pool of orders that caused demand to be higher than supply, because this is the range holding it. So price made demand higher than supply to break it. So it means that this whole range, this is the true demand zone. So we expect price to come and mitigate whatever orders left here and continue to go up. So As you can see now, you can see I've marked the zone. That's my range. It says range that costs the BOS. So that's it. Like I said, that's that's the range that costs the BOS. That's the range that costs the BOS. Then this other one, this is the range. This is the range that costs from the 2 hours time frame. It's even more clear. You can see that candle, the middle candle there. This the middle candle there. You can see after that you saw an impulse. No, after that you saw an impulse. So that's where I find my ranges using the candlesticks, always on the higher time frame. So you can see. So what the price do? You can see that after price broke the structure, where did it come to? It came to the so like I said before, I always have two POI. This is my first POI. This is my second POI. So the one that price comes for, that's when we start looking for a reaction there. So you can see that after the BOS price came, tap at the one that broke structure that caused the BOS. So you can see that's the candle that caused the BOS. Are you seeing? So this is the whole range that caused the BOS. So where that's where the true demand is. So this is just like a refinement. Are you getting me? This is just like a refinement. It's just like a refinement of that zone. So even here, we can also apply the same concept. We have applied the same thing every time. So you can see that there was a break of structure here. Then, so if we mark it out now, you can see we have this is the range that took out liquidity. Okay, now where where is the range that broke structure? You can see right here. You can see there's a range that broke structure right there. Are you getting me? But in this case, we saw that here the range that broke structure, or no, so that caused the BOS failed because right here we can see that price liquidated it, but we can see that price actually reversed from this bigger time frame range. This is just like a refinement. It's just like very soon we'll go deeper into it, but I just want you guys to just see how I look at the chart. So you can see that from here, when price came back to the range that caused the BOS, it flied. It flied. You can see that it mitigated. It mitigated and fly. We'll discuss more about all this entry model, but not now. I can see it flied. Then for another example, what do you see here? We saw a break of structure. So what do we look out for? We first of all will find the range that took out that caused the BOS. So where is the range that caused the BOS? It's all over here. Are you getting me? That's the range that caused the BOS. Then the range that caused the liquidity. So these are the two ranges, and you can see that price after breaking structure, price came back to the range and went up. But this is a little move, anyways. But you can see that it went up. So you can see the two ranges. I marked them up there. Those are the two ranges. So these are our real supply and demand zones. It's not these how do I put it now? Because we are being taught that that anywhere we see a bullish engulfing like this, bullish engulfing like this. That's our no, that's not true. So these are the way we find the true supply and demand. So you can see that price has come and mitigated the first demand zone. Are you seeing it? Give us an entry. You can see it gave us an entry. Then then in this case, so that after price mitigated the first place, it also came down to mitigate the demand that costs liquidity, which is our second point of interest. And you can see it. That's it. You can see. So even in our entry model too, this is just a tip of the iceberg for the entry model. We're going to discuss more about it. So this place is this purple zone right here. Is this purple zone right there? So when price came to the demand that caused liquidity. So even when we are looking for entries, we look for the same thing. So now what did you see? Now you can see that price took out liquidity and break structure. These are the two things we are looking for, especially for the entries. For the entries, we want to see price take out liquidity, then break structure. Then after price takes out liquidity and break structure, what do we now look for? First of all, we look for the the range, the zone that broke the holding supply, because because when price broke down, there was a strong supply, a holding supply. So for price to break this supply, it must create a range that will cause price to break the supply. So that range that cause price to break the supply is what we are interested in, and that's where you put your first entry, your first entry. Then the range that caused the liquidity is here. So we always use two entries. So that's why you can see that you can see the price came perfectly to where after the break of structure. You can see that price came perfectly to the range that caused the break of structure. Even even here in the refinement, you can see after price, first of all, price took out liquidity, then broke structure. Are you seeing it? Then broke structure. So now, what did price come to? Price came. Price came to the range that broke structure. This will be in the 3 minutes. In the 3 minutes time frame, you will see the range that broke structure here. So that's how it is. That's how it is. That's how it is. Even here, after price broke structure, where the price come to? This is the range that broke structure. Where the price come to? Price came back to mitigate it. So you can take three good entries just from this concept. Now you can see price flied from this place. Even here, I think this will be the last example of this slide. The same concept. What the price do? Oh, what am I doing now? What the price do? Price took out liquidity and broke structure. Took out liquidity and broke structure. So where is the the where do we look for, or rather what do we now look for? We look for, first of all, the range that caused the liquidity. Then somewhere around there you see the range that caused the break of structure. Are you getting me? So what do we now wait for? Wait for price to react to one of these. But now you can see that to price came to react to the range that caused the liquidity, which is the deeper one, the extreme. So from here now, what do you now see? Price did what? Price came down and broke structure again. Are you seeing it? Price broke structure again. Then then after that, when price broke structure, where did it come to? it came to the range that caused the break of structure. Are you seeing it? Then after price broke structure over here again, where did it come to? Come to the range. So that's just how price is. So this is where people start marking their. This is how people start marking their higher high, their higher high, higher low, whatever, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But this is really supply and demand. This is just order flow, supply and demand. It's just really order flow, supply and demand. I think this is the end of the slide. So just in case you have any question, if you have any question, I will create a group chat for us so that we can ask our questions. So please, I wish, I hope I've explained something. Anyways, if you have any question, I will be happy to answer you, even if you DM me directly. Thank you, guys.